Hello and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about the 2021 Utah Utes college football team is the man himself, Mr. Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Hey, what's going on, Jeremiah? Another Monday talking some more college football, man. We're just running through these teams. Any team that basically we're going through every team in college football, feels like, man. We've been doing this for a while now, and we might be running out of teams pretty soon. So I'm ready to talk about Utah, though.
Hey, and we'll never run out of good teams to talk about. And that's one of the reasons today we're talking about the Utah Utes because, this is maybe a team from a smaller school that some people may not be familiar with. But I'll tell you one thing, the Utah Utes fan base, they know what's up. They could tell you the entire history. You've got some alumni coming out of there that, came out of the school 20, 30 years ago that could still probably tell you stories about the glory days of the Utah Utes. Being sitting in a stadium, having a hot dog and watching a great football game, and having a drink and just chilling out. And there's got to be some great stories through their entire alumni history. But without further ado, Mr. Landers, tell us, what does the Utah Utes fan base have to look forward to this year?
Yeah, so 2020 wasn't the best season overall if you're a Utah fan. They finished 3-2 overall in the Pac-12, so it was a winning record. You can go off that. But you would have hoped to, of course, go 5-0. But it's all right, though. Last year was crazy for any football fan. NFL, college, you name it. A lot of teams didn't get to play much last year. Like I said, this team only played in 5 games in total. Some teams played more, some teams played even less. So this year it's looking like, fingers crossed still, knock on some wood, that we're going to get through a whole college football season. We're going to get through a full schedule with a lot more teams and a lot more weeks of football to talk about. So first off, I'm excited for that. I know you're excited for that. Our whole team is ready for that. And I know the Utah fans are also ready for a full season of some college football. And I'm looking at their schedule. They do have a few challenges. They got BYU in week 2. That's going to be a struggle. They got USC a few weeks later. That's always a good team, man. I see Arizona State, UCLA. They have a lot of big names. I see Oregon too. So it's not the easiest schedule for Utah this upcoming season. But they could shock some people, though. Utah has a good program. They have a great head coach who's been there for a long time now with Kyle Whittingham, who's been there for 17 seasons. So a very experienced head coach. And, man, especially nowadays with coaches getting, moving around seemingly every single year, it's crazy to see a guy who's been there for close to 20 years helping out this program. So, of course, first off, congrats to Coach Kyle to getting closer to 20 years, getting that 2-decade mark. So hopefully he can get there, and he's had a good run all in all. So I think can continue in 2021. Utah last year, they just couldn't get it going. Their offense, they just couldn't get into second gear. It was there, but they just couldn't keep it up. They didn't have a big play on offense or defense. It was just kind of stagnant. There wasn't oh man, look, this guy threw for 80 yards and got a big touchdown to get the lead. It was just just pretty much, X's and O's in terms of their offense last year. So that's what you're going for more of this year. Of course, with your QB, you got Jake Bentley. It was all right. He didn't do the best, but you're hoping that, he got it figured out throughout the offseason, and that this year he can lead this team into more bigger downfield plays, just a better attack. And I think he could. Like I said, some guys, it takes, a little bit of a bad season to come back and to be even better. And hopefully Jake can do just that for the Utah fan, for everyone who enjoy watching Utah football. So, like I said, Utah, it's all right, though. Charlie Brewer is there, too. He's a great 4-year starter who's going to help out. And so, Charlie, hey, that might be the team. People might be like, Jake didn't have the best season. It might be time for Charlie to step in. So I think that Charlie, who came from Baylor, good program, he could have a good year, I think. It wouldn't surprise me if he takes that starting role and takes over for Utah. Just a fresh start, and he's got a good bit of talent, I think. So I think that, of course, you're good. You did lose a few guys. You lost Brian Thompson. He moved on. So that is going to hurt your wide receiving core just a little bit. But it's going to be all right, though, because you got a few guys who transferred over to your team, though. You had Theo Howard, who had he's 132 catches, over 1,500 yards throughout he's been just his career. He's been solid. So if you're a Utah fan, you're watching for this guy, hoping he can do some good work. And, of course, you have Brant Kuith, who led the team with 25 catches last year, who was their tight end. Of course, he didn't do a whole lot last year, but he is a guy who is reliant, who can do a lot of good work. So I think that can help out as well. Of course, you then have Britton Covey, who's a great veteran, who helped lead the team in receiving yards. So he's there. It's fun, though, because with him, he's a shorter guy. He's 5'8", the wide receiving core. So it's always fun to see the little guys get up there, get his verticals, and get some good work in. So they do have a good bit of talent on that wide receiving core. They're going to have Charlie Brewer as their quarterback, I think. So that's going to be a fun get. And the O-line, man, the O-line is huge. They have a lot of big guys on that offensive line who are going to help out and who are going to do some good work. They have a lot of their starters coming back on the O-line, so that's going to be great. You have Nick Ford, who's basically their anchor on the offensive line, who's going to help out. So the offense, it's not perfect by any means, but they have, they are going to have, I think, a good season, of course. The running back position, they're going to have to figure out who's going to do that. Is going to be Devin Brumfeld. Who's it going to be? Who's going to step up, and who is going to be the brand new running back for Utah? We'll have to see, because it is kind of an open book. You don't know who's going to take that role and who's going to move on. So we'll see who's going to rock with. So that's for the offense. Like I said, not dominant by any means, but it is solid. It can get the job done as long as it's consistent. And I think as long as they get a few more of the bigger plays and just have a more explosive offense, I think they'll be fine. So in 2020, the defense wasn't the best. It allowed a lot of points. It allowed, it wasn't the best. So I think that in 2021, you just got to hope to just get rid of last year, just brand new year, brand new defense. You start better, and I think they should be fine. Just get a few more turnovers, and just mostly you got to stop the pass. You got to stop the passing yards. That is key in college football. They did get a few interceptions last year. They got 7. So they were fine, but you just got to stop giving up so many yards through the air. But as you can do that, if you can get the interceptions like they got last year, they proved they can do it. If you can limit how many yards they throw for, I think they should be fine, because it's not like they didn't allow that many touchdowns through the air. They just allowed a lot of passing yards. So you've proved that you can stop them in the end zone, but you have to stop them throughout the whole field first, though. So I think that if you can stop that defense, they should be fine. They have a lot of really good guys over there. Of course, you have Jatravius Broughton, who is a great corner. Clark Phillips as well. So both of those guys are really going to be great. And there's, some people predicting they're one of the Pac-12's best in terms of their on the defense side of the ball, those two. So the talent is there, but they just got to be able to stop the offense a little bit more. So we'll see what they can rock with. So the linebacking core, man, it's looking good too. Defense is definitely the strong point for this Utah team. Devin Lloyd, he unfortunately left last year, so you lost him, but it's all right though. It's all right because you have Nefi Sewell, who's there, a dangerous playmaker. He's doing a lot of good work, so It's all right though. So you might have lost some guys, but it's all right. You got some guys who are going to step up, who are going to do some good work, and we're going to help Utah get a good season, I think. So you got a lot of big guys on that defense who are going to help stop the run, get some sacks, get some turnovers. All in all, I think Utah, man, I don't think they're going to be quite as dominant. I could see less than 10 wins. But all in all, I think that this team, like I said, on offense, you got Charlie Brewer, who's your QB. What can he do now is, with a full season under his belt. Then on defense, you got Devin Lloyd. Then you got, all the other guys I mentioned with Broughton at the cornerback. Moella, who is a great defensive tackle as well. So you have a lot of good guys who they're hoping, to get in there to help out. And I think Utah could have a solid season all in all. I don't know if they're going to be – I don't think they're going to be competing for the Pac-12 championship. I don't think they have that much talent. It's the offense that gives a little bit of a question mark for me. But I do see them contending. I see them having some tough games. And I think it's going to be a good season all in all for Utah.
Yes. Well, I hope that you are right, and I think that you are, because this is the type of team that, they don't get as much press as they really should, because I'm just telling you, you got kids coming out of high school that are going to be superstars, and they land somewhere. They don't always land in the biggest schools. They don't always land at the most prestigious programs. Some of that has to do with, not just being overlooked because of, other various, shiny recruits and, with great promotion that they're, putting themselves out there. And some people just don't want to move. Some people want to stay, where they're at. So, I mean, if you live in Utah and you're a great player and you've got great family there, maybe you just want to stay in Utah and go to school. And maybe you have some kind of specific connection to where you're at. And so, shout out to all those great college football players that stay close to home because they want to stay near their family. They want it near their friends, their life. And, shout out to y'all, because y'all are the ones who keep all of our butts in the seats while all the great games are happening. We are going to enjoy the games, whether it's win, lose, or draw. And, we're going to come and we're going to enjoy our favorite football team. So what are your final thoughts on the Utah Utes?
I think overall, Jeremiah, they got a great head coach. Their defense is, amazing. The offense, as long as it starts clicking, I think, you got a brand new QB stepping in this year. So I think if the offense can step up, I don't know if they're going to get to the defensive side of how explosive they are, but if you can just move it up just a little bit, this team has some potential. Their defense is amazing. That's their strong point. Offense has some questions. Great head coach, all in all. Utah is going to be a good team, I think. They have a lot of good players, and I'm interested to see how they're going to do in 2021.
Yes. Well, everybody watching us, thank you so much. And what do you think is going to happen with the Utah Utes? If you're a big fan of this team, we definitely want to hear from you. Put in the comments exactly what your favorite moments have been from the last few years, and what are you looking forward to this season for the Utah Utes? And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, thank you so much. All of your shares and sharing over to all of our friends and family, especially into Facebook groups, have really helped us to grow in the last year. And if you're not listening to our podcast yet, we invite you to go and listen to our podcast at 100 Yards of Football, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, including over on Spotify, including on Apple, Stitcher, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And we put a new podcast out every day. You can listen to us in the mornings, on your morning drive, on your evening drive back home, or while you're hanging out at your office, or when you're just having a break and you want to get some great football coverage. We keep it light. We keep it on the field. We keep it about stats and amazing players. And, we're just there to help you enjoy your day. So for the entire team here at 100 Yards of Football, I am the producer, Jeremiah Long, and you've been listening to our host, Logan Landers, give a 2021 preview for the Utah Utes college football team. We'll be right back with another live video.